Playing music and everything. I forgot to open up the stream to see if it actually started. Oh, there it goes. It started. Welcome to OreAni 2024 Winter Season lineup. Yay!
Yay.
We've been doing this for so long. Ugh, I feel old just thinking about
Is that about to turn 20 years yet?
it. uh, I think we're closer to 15 years.
Oh,
But yeah, we've been doing this for quite a while, and the title list just keeps on getting longer and longer. Remember, it was just like 20 shows, and now we're up to 80 per season.
this is unreal.
So, coming harder and harder to watch everything, but good. Thank goodness not everything's good, right?
It's definitely the quantity, not quality.
Yeah.
Unfortunately.
So, I'd like we give a shout out to Jessica. She's out there having fun, cheering for the football members and their team. Hopefully, her team wins.
Captive audience, really.
We got Vinny here with us.
Hello?
We got Albert, as always.
Hello, hello.
And we have DragonWarrior that will be joining us here in a bit. And of course, myself. Vinny just came back from Japan. That one must have been fun. He got to see Kamiket and everything.
So did Dragon.
Yeah, Dragon too. But let's go ahead and start this whole season out. We're going to go in alphabetical order, as always. I'm probably going to skip the 30 Sai Made, whatever, Dote title at the beginning, since I don't think anyone's really on par with that, except for Dragon. He's not here. And we'll go ahead and move over to the next title, which is Villainous Level 99. I may be the hidden boss, but I'm not the Demon Lord. Akuyaku Reijo Level 99. Watashi wa ura boss desu ga mao desu wa arimasen.
Very good.
Its source is a light novel, but there is a manga version out there, which I have read. I think I read it because of one of your guys' recommendations back in the day.
Fine.
Yeah.
I recommended both. I've read both.
So, that's why I've read it, and I've decided to watch this as well. We got everyone watching it, but Albert, actually, why did you drop it? If you are you just is it just clear up some space?
Yeah, there's that. And then also since I have read both the light novel and the manga, right? I mean, I know where it's going. I was seeing if the anime brought anything new in. The only thing in episode 1 is like 30 minutes of it, or not 30, half of it, right? Half of the runtime is kind of a switch and bait, as it's told from the game protagonist view. So it's not from Yumiya's viewpoint, but from what's the light girl's name?
Alicia?
Yeah, Alicia. Yeah. So that was the only interesting twist, and then the rest of it was just not that interesting. It's pretty much following the story, and I forget the studio, but the animation quality was decent on the first episode, which is not what you really want to see. You kind of want to see them at least be, really good. So there was that, and then the chibi deformed versions that you sometimes get in these shows, right? Of Yumiella, it was so. I don't really like the way the character designs are for the anime, so that's the reason I basically dropped it. It's a twist on the old Otome game villainous trope, and there's a little bit of an interesting twist that I enjoyed when I first read through it, but this is my third iteration, and I know already what's coming, and yeah, so that's why I decided to pass. What about you guys?
So it looks like the studio is Jumondo, which did that Potion anime last season, and they also did
Ugh,
Hoshi Sumidare. So I never
that's that's
watched.
Lucifer and the Biscuit Hammer, one of the worst tragedies of last. Wait, was it last year or the year before?
Year before,
Yeah,
that was god awful.
God, it was horrible. It was horrible. So yeah, that might now that I know that, I think I'm still right in my decision to kind of drop it and make space for more interesting things. But what did you guys think about the first episode and that little bit of a twist?
so I thought it would make a lot more sense for this twist if you're watching on television, because it would be a nice fake out because you wouldn't know really if you were just switching to it and started watching it. But as a streaming platform, we kind of already knew what with the title. But also that I've read the manga, I kind of already knew. But I thought it was kind of fun to see it from the game side. Plus, we got that special opening for the game that you could tell was so light novel esque. how they showcased it. But overall, as far as the shows and episodes I've seen, it's doing a really decent job with sticking with the manga version that I've read, with replacing some of the visuals in a way that kind of makes a little more sense. And uh, at least for animation, the only thing that bugs me is the protagonist's eyes. The center of the pupil, that black dot, isn't centered. It's like at the top of her eye, which it's really strange. I gotta check the manga again and see if her eyes are the only one that's different because everyone else's eyes is normal except for hers. But it's fun. The voice actors I think are doing really decent job. So I've had no problems with getting into the show, and I'm kind of excited to keep on watching it. Ready?
Yeah, main girl is voiced by Ru's Eye, and she's been getting a lot of notice and juicy roles too. So she was Kibiki and How Heavy Are the Dumbbells You Lift,
Oh yeah.
and Jolene and Stone Ocean, JoJo Part, what is it, 5 or no 6? But yeah, so she's been getting a lot of good roles, and in this one, she's you know the character is a very flat deadpan, and that's part of the fun of it because her viewpoint is so different from the other people's normal, what's quote normal viewpoint. So I thought she did a fine job, really, in the first episode.
The BA tends to pick up a role that's kind of a, I don't know, loud and spunky type. So this was somewhat unexpected role that she chose, since she's, as you said, is very much deadpan character. Having said that, this is very much right in the middle of the road type of otome game type of genre that's going on right now. So if you're a fan of that, you'll probably enjoy it. If you're not a fan of that, you probably would not care to watch this one at all, as it really does not separate itself from others too much. But up to episode 3, things are holding up pretty well. It's not the greatest looking thing, but it's not disintegrating just yet. So hopefully, if he sticks by it, then ones who's been watching it should be able to get through. But I cannot say if I'll recommend it for somebody who's looking for something new, because it really does not offer anything new as far as the ultimate genre game goes.
All right. So I think that's it for that show. Let's go ahead and move on to the next title. which is something I've been waiting for a while. I believe Vinny had a chance to watch it ahead of everyone at the convention over there in New York. I don't know if he got to.
Oh no, that seat filled up really quickly.
But Dangers in My Heart season 2,
Yeah.
with this success for the first season, you can see that it's upped a lot of its quality, even just with the opening. The opening has gone way above, and it's probably become one of my favorite openings this season, visually and with the music. Just put together, it's really done well. But it's just a continuation of Dangers in My Heart. And if you didn't know, they also have a little short that they released in between called, what is it called again? Boku, or, I can't remember it now. But they had this like little partial episode with a bunch of little short stories that if you had read the manga, they were kind of like these bonuses that you would get.
Oh, you're talking about the ones that's animated the omake sections of it, isn't it?
Yes. Um, I think it was Tsuyaba, something like that.
Mm.
But it was really good. I think they have it on High Dive as episode like 12.5 or something like that. But
Yeah.
it's just kicking off right where you left off. So everything's just moving forward, and it's one of my favorite, I guess, school themed animes right now. And I'm really enjoying the relationship between Yamada and uh, what's his name?
Yeah.
Ichikawa, right? Ichikawa, there it is. But yeah, I mean, we're seeing a lot more of the classmates now, and we'll probably be seeing some more introductions of other students. So I'm kind of really excited to see how far this goes. Vinny?
I have nothing to add up on that other than I know this is Dragon's probably his favorite series. You know, it's your coming of age, tender loving school rom com series. It's got so much sweetness going on. So if you're a fan of those series, you'll just gobble it up. I mean, probably watch the first season, and I don't see anybody dropping second season after liking first season. And as Tank mentioned, that the quality has gone up quite a bit. I guess they really got a bigger budget to work on this time. So it's all the good news for the fans who really probably couldn't get more any couldn't get enough of it. So there's that. So keep on watching.
All right, go ahead and move on to the next title. Find the title, which is a show called Chew. There's the title card. Uh, Chu Maho no Machigatta Tsukaikata. The
Yep.
wrong way to use healing magic, which we got to see the Isekai village, the circular village that's super popular out there on the internet. In one of the scenes.
What series popularized that whole circular castle town with a river running in the middle? Is that the
Actually, the
uh
river's not in the middle of this one. It's goes around it.
oh, I think
Comprised.
Konosuba is the one that kind of popularized it.
Yeah, I believe so
Oldman.
as well. But once again, it's based off of a light novel slash manga. It's out there as well. I've read the manga. It's has some slight differences again from the manga, but overall, I find it actually very fun, especially with the interactions between the isekai heroes and Usato. But in a nutshell, the wrong way to use magic, or what was it? The wrong way to use healing magic, right?
Yes.
Um, we got the two popular students at school run into Usato as they're on their way home from school, and just have a casual conversation. They get isekai through summoning circle rather than Truck-kun. And Usato, the one that was with them, finds out that he was just summoned by mistake. And surprisingly, the main boy, I can't remember his name.
Usato.
No, the hero boy. Sorry.
Oh, hero boy, that would be Kazuki.
Yeah, surprisingly, he acts very normal. I think for in that type of situation, rather than agreeing and just going with the flow and becoming the hero, he actually voices out a lot of these real problems that I think a lot of people would have with
Well,
this situation.
he, well, I mean, he's definitely being the straight man of the threesome over there. You know, if one's kind of coming out of the shell and the other one's going unhinged, then somebody has to stay in the middle to keep things from really going all focus. So Kazuki definitely became that grounded person. But then, as you mentioned, typically when teenagers got isekais, the guys tends to go all power crazy, and he's definitely not that, surprisingly so. It's the girl.
But yeah, I mean, it's just highlights the trials of Usato rather than the heroes. So
Yes.
Usato, like we said, he got summoned there by mistake. They find out he has healing magic, and that revelation played out wonderful. It was so hilarious as to all the things that happened around him to get him to meet until he met Rose, which turns his
He
life upside down.
he embodies the whole what doesn't kill you only makes you stronger.
But so far, it's been a nice ride. It's there. Like I said, there have been some slight differences that I wish would have played out the way the manga did it. But overall, I haven't had really much issue with how they're telling the story. So I think they're doing a really good job giving us the story of this healing hero.
I like the character design in animation better than manga at times. I thought it portrayed the character better for some reason, especially the girl. She's got the whole dynamic look on her as it gets more diverse as the series goes on, story goes on rather, and that's. But yeah, it's been surprisingly enjoyable series to watch so far.
Mm-hmm. I really do love it when Usato has gotten, I guess, familiar with the whole group and how he bickers with everyone there and just become one of the men within the group.
One of the monsters.
Yes, but going forward, I think we're finally going to start seeing some a nice action coming soon, so we'll be able to see the animator's skills for these fight scenes, right?
Yes.
So we're kind of excited for that. Lately, it's just been the training and trials of Usato, so we'll see how that goes. Anything to add?
Nope.
All right. Did you ever have a chance to read that manga, Albert? Or
Yeah, I actually read quite a bit of it, like 6 volumes, I think. But actually ended up dropping the manga. After a while, I felt like it was kind of doing the same thing over and over. So, um, and that's why I didn't actually check out the anime. I hear good things about it, but it's one of those. I have too many other things I need to watch from last season.
all right. The next up is this one, which is another manga source, but no light novel. The Dosanko Gawa Namara Menkoi. I don't know why that was so weird for me to read, but Hokkaido gals are super adorable.
it's hard to read because it's dialect. It's Hokkaido dialect and slang. So
That actually has brought since you brought that up, it has been something that I think was kind of fun to see the translators try to deal with. I guess when she tries to do this Gal dialect, of course they have it being like her going saws or uh that was whacked, or they're doing this really weird things with the translations to try to make it more I guess slang
mhm.
for I guess for the dialect, or maybe the Gal language rather than the dialect, right? But
Yeah, I wasn't paying that much attention to the subtitle, and I'm just hoping that they do a decent job because there's this whole. I mean, right now there's a whole localization issue going on, and the so-called translator community, right? The translation is a localization, and how much of it is being thrown out because of these localizers who sometimes aren't even translators. So, eh. But yeah, hopefully they're doing a decent job. I haven't continued watching it beyond the first episode, so I can't really tell. So, I take it you're continuing watching it. How is it after the first episode?
well, it got voted as our anime nights one of our watch shows, so we've gotten up to the third, and I think overall it's it's been pretty clean. I wouldn't say there's anything big that happens. It takes place most of the time with just these two characters traveling and doing some, uh, I guess, sightseeing with the main character, Tsubasa. But we did finally get introduced to a new girl as they went to the ski slopes. So that was kind of interesting to see their animation of that. I wouldn't say it was perfect because of I can imagine how hard it is to get the angles and to get that skiing stuff down. But overall, I think it's doing a good job of just trying to tell the story. But of course, it is also. I think the manga was a little bit etchy, so we're having some etchy moments in there. So if you're watching this, there's going to be some of that, um, some of those.
It's it's nothing like the other series, so
Yeah, this one's pretty toned down. I mean, I think the most we've seen is just some bra, right, or something like that. So nothing like big, or her just wearing like very casual wear.
yeah,
So it's
short
it's
skirt and such.
so the fan service isn't like over the top like in some shows you would see out there, but there is some there, and it's just fun to see. I guess us kind of follow Tsubasa as he learns more about Hokkaido, and also because I've read the manga, I know more or less what the deal is with him, but in the anime so far, it's just portrayed him as being this kid that kind of has no idea what's going on around there when it comes to some of this common sense stuff, or he's experiencing everything new for the first time. But I would say the character designs are way better than the manga as well. They're a lot cleaner. Do you have anything to add? Or
Not really. It's just I was a little surprised that this got animation adaptation. I didn't expect it to be that popular enough, but I guess it's you mentioned the tank. Since this has gotten almost 100 chapters, I guess there is a merit to it. As far as the series goes, it's squarely into sort of a school rom-com type of series with a little bit of hint on a harem kind of thing going on eventually. I don't see this being the strongest of the entry in recent years, so it could be very much forgettable down the road. But if you're a fan of those type of series, you probably will enjoy it so far.
all right, nothing else to add? Anyone? All right, let's go to the next title. which I've only seen the first episode. This one's really hard for me to watch because it's a Netflix title. So I know a lot of people, a lot of my friends have watched this because it's on Netflix and they're telling me to watch it. And I only have gotten around to watching the first episode, but unfortunately I didn't have my full attention on it. But um, so can you tell us, Vinny, about it? Or
How about you, Albert? I think this is Albert type of series for sure.
All right. So, Delicious and Dungeon Meshi is it's based on the manga, pretty popular, and it is not an isekai, but it is fantasy, and they are in a Dungeons and Dragon type setting, and they're a party that has been going into the I think they call it a labyrinth, but the dungeon basically, and they go in there. They have delved pretty far and deep, and they almost do a PPK, which is total party kill. At the last moment, when fighting the red dragon, the party, I think she is not the mage. Falin is the healer. She's the cleric, essentially. Cast a spell to get them all back to the top level to teleport out, right, before they wipe. Unfortunately, she was in the mouth of the dragon, and she gets swallowed before the spell fully activates. So everyone else returns to the top level outside, and now her brother, Laios, and the rest of the party, two of whom have resigned. So it's the elf girl and the halfling, or actually they call him a half-man. Steve have to go delve to go rescue Fallen before she's fully digested by the dragon. Because there is revival magic in this world. Like I said, very D&D-esque. Death is not permanent, right? It's been, they had like a, it was like a preview that was attached to one of the comics when they released the comic volume, and everyone got super excited that this might be actually happening, and then we don't hear anything for a while, and bang, they actually came out with it. And so on Netflix this season, it is being simulcast, so each episode that comes out is quickly being released here, so it's not a wait until, it's not a Netflix jail. So that's a great thing. The animation is by Trigger, and yeah, it's really good. And it's also one of those weird foodie shows, because in order to travel fast and light without using so much of their money or being slowed down, Laios convinces the other that they've got to eat the monsters that they kill, and that way they don't have to carry all this food and spend money on food. They're going to get it on site. So, and they meet in the first episode. When they do that, they meet this dwarven warrior / cook who's been down in the dungeon for a really long time and knows a lot about these monsters and how to prepare them so you don't get poisoned, and how to cook them deliciously and keep you healthy from not just eating, meat and bread. So that's kind of the setup. It's a lot of fun. If there is a criticism, I would say Laios is coming off as kind of a airhead, and also kind of a bad brother, because you would think he would be really more, worried about his sister, but he's very casual about, so I think we've got like a month before she gets digested. Yeah, we should get going. That kind of thing. Or, he doesn't show a lot of panic. He's kind of a flat character, so there is that, but he's very passionate about eating monsters.
Mhm.
But yeah, overall, it's really, really well animated. It's a lot of fun. There's a lot of crossover with the tabletop RPG, Dungeons and Dragons playing group, Baldur's Gate, all that kind of stuff. So I expect it to be very popular. this season, and hopefully it'll bring even more people into anime.
Once I
That's it.
found out it was about Trigger, I've now become really excited to want to watch it. So I didn't know it was from Trigger, but I would say it's been a while since Trigger's done this kind of fantasy. Everything's been more like Steam. What was it? That Steam or Cyberpunk thing, right? And mecha stuff lately from Trigger. But
Yeah,
but
not.
go,
I
go
think Cyberpunk was their last one.
but now going back to fantasy, where I think they kind of started with that Witch Academia, right? So I think it'd be kind of cool to see them going back to this setting.
And the food looks great, so don't watch it hungry, despite them eating a lot of weird stuff.
You have anything to add, Vinny?
No, I mean, I've been a fan of this series for a long time, so when it was announced that it's happening, I was psyched then. Uh, they actually, the executive did, some of the executives showed up at the Anime NYC to premiere the first 2 episodes, so we're like, oh my god, actually, we got to see it. And yeah, you know, it's just nothing but excitement and happiness here, really.
All right, I can't wait to catch up. I got some catching up to do for this now. But let's go ahead and move on to the next title. So I'm really excited for Dragon Meshi now. My friends told me about it, but the only thing that was hitting me off was just Netflix. Now I gotta try to watch it. Next up is this title, which is really hard to see with the background we have, is Gekkai Elise, or Dr. Elise, the Royal Lady with the Lamp. Okay. This is on Crunchyroll. It's based off of a digital. It says manhwa. Wow. This one is a really interesting start to it, I believe, for myself, because it starts with her in modern time, but she's got memories from a fantasy setting, as she lived a life as a noble, where eventually I think it was like she ended up um, being killed by the I think it was like kind of like a civil war that happened in her previous life. But now that she's reborn in this world, she's risen to becoming the greatest doctor slash surgeon there is, and she's just been honing her skills. And to her, in this new life, she wants to save as many people as she can. And as we go through this show, we're shown the hardship that she's gone through and how she's also become this respectable doctor, but she ends up dying in this new world. And then all of a sudden she's sent back to her previous world, but back in time, to a moment that she easily recognizes was like a big turning point in her life. So it's this kind of really weird where it's an isekai back to reverse time loops isekai thingy. I don't know how to explain it, but it's been very strange. But with her new knowledge, and of course with how everything's going to proceed forward in the future, plus with her now second life living this doctor as a doctor, she now has some new goals set, and she's wants to do things differently. So it seems like this show's going to be a little entertaining for me to see how she uses her knowledge and how she changes her perception of everyone about her as this kind of spoiled noble to this new person she's become. So they're kind of even pitting her through trials as she's now in her new, old life, saying that she wants to become a doctor, as they think it's just the whims of this noble spoiled brat kind of thing, that she's not going to keep with it once she learns how hard it is to be a doctor. So plus with it being in this kind of a, I would say, old European time, the advancements of the medical research isn't that far. So she's hoping to help get everyone to a point where she can save as much lives. So that's kind of what this show is in a nutshell, and it's been somewhat entertaining, but I don't know how far I'm going to be able to follow it with all the titles. It might get dropped eventually, but for now, I'm going to probably keep on watching it because it's somewhat keeping me entertained.
I'm sure you can handle 20 series, Tank.
But yeah, I mean, it's not great by any sense, but it's not bad so far. That's how I'm going to put it. Um, you have Ikari no O as a plan to watch. Do you want to talk about that, or probably wait till the end of the season?
End of season.
Okay. So let's go to the next title here on our list. Excuse me, I almost got hiccups. Next up is Hime-sama Gumon no Jikan desu. 'Tis time for torture, princess, as it translates. Based off of a manga. Vinny, did you say you watched or read the manga?
Yeah, I read a little bit about it.
But I don't think you've seen much of it, right?
No, I didn't watch much of the anime yet. Eventually, we'll catch up to that one.
All right. I've only seen the first 2 episodes, and this may be a show I drop unless I have like a lot of extra time, because it seems to be very repetitive in its storytelling.
It kind of is. It's very episodic, even in manga.
So, I would say though the first like 3 minutes is amazing in the quality and the effort they put into it. And I was just shocked by it. But as you go forward, it becomes very simplified. But once again, it's not bad at all. It's still uh, visually pleasing. But as you can kind of guess, it's princess has been captured by the demon or evil army. I can't remember if they are demons. I think they are. But so they decide to torture her to get the kingdom's secrets to help the demon army. And of course, you know, being the strong princess, the princess that was chosen by X, her sword, to prevail. We learn about her history and how she's lived this life to become this strong woman, and all the hardships she's had to go through. That no torture would ever get her to reveal any of the secrets. And of course, the torture methods aren't what they seem. It's been a lot of this, mostly I think, food play, and given her the basic necessities of all of us that we take for granted, that she's never kind of really experienced, or maybe she's indulging in, that she just wants to, that she gets jealous or feels compelled to want to join in the things that they're displaying. So she ends up breaking. And it's like 3 little short stories per episode. And a little bit of ASMR for that first episode. But like I said, it seems like it's going to be very repetitive. She tells the secrets, the demon army, oh, we can't use that secret. It's not going to help us. So I guess we're going to have to keep her and torture her again. Oh, we tortured her this new way. Now she gave us the secrets. Oh, can't be used. That's how it seems so far. All right. Next title. It's got a lot of this one word here. What's this? Mo.
You're struggling that word, huh?
Wait, I got it wrong. It starts with an I first, right?
Yeah, isekai.
Oh, oh, there it is. I couldn't find it. It's all bubbly. It didn't look normal, like the normal titles. Okay, Isekai de Mofu Mofu Nan. Wait, Nade Nade
Uh-huh.
Suru. No, yeah, Suru Tame ni Gambatte Mas. Fluffy Paradise. I was going to keep this as my guilty privilege or pleasure show this season, but it got voted as our top show for our anime night.
It's the powerful flop.
Want to lead us, Vinny, on this one?
Yeah, sure. It's one of the 10,000 isekai series out there. Just adding another one. It starts off with overworked office worker who's got really no life outside of work. Overworked, tired, nothing going on, and she falls. As soon as she enters her apartment, hits her face squarely onto the floor and dies. And naturally, she gets transferred into this other worldly realm where the god took pity on her and told her, "Hey, listen, sorry about how you died. I'll give a chance to be able to live out your rest of your life the way any way you wanted to. Just that you help me to make judgment on people, human beings, and punish them or however he sees fit. But she's gonna be the one who's gonna help him make that decision." So she's like, "Okay, I don't understand what's going on, but sure." And the guy says, "Well, can just send you there without anything extra, so I'll give you freebies, like superpower of your choice." And she said, "You know what? Just let me flop any kind of a furry animals that I wanted to because I couldn't pet my parents a cat before I died, and I've been regretting it ever since." So God says, "Okay, sure. I'll make sure that you get along with anything other than human. So off you go." So she's reborn into this little adorable third child of this noble family high up in the ranking. And she gets along with pretty much any kind of creatures, let it be the tigers, to dragons, to reptiles, anything that's not human. She just gets automatically attached to them and they just get cling to her. And the series is pretty much about that so far. The little girl having a fun moment with all those animals and having a jolly old good time. Yeah.
I don't know if I want to say if it's a healing anime, because I don't. To me, it doesn't seem like it's trying to heal us. It's just trying to heal the main character. But would you classify it as a healing anime?
Um, it could be. Yeah, I mean, it really it's not going anywhere. She doesn't have any grand scheme, or there's no impending doom, or any kind of political clashing going on. Even if there was, she's pretty much oblivious with it, and she's only 3 years old. So what does she really care, other than just playing with a little jumbo-sized kitty?
All right. And I believe this show is one of the few that's actually kind of ahead of everything else. While everything else is at like 2 or 3, this one's at 4. So, um,
Maybe people can sympathize with how overworked they are.
mhm. Next up, which I don't think we're even going to talk about. I'm just pulling it up real quick, just to show it off. Can't even read the title, but the Kekkon Yubiwa Monogatari. I actually thought this would be more popular, but I guess I was wrong. I tried to watch it, and although I've read the manga and thought it was a fun manga, there's just too many more interesting things out there right now compared to this.
Uh, I'm getting very mixed feeling about this series. I thought animation's a little weird, as if all the characters are kind of done in 3D and they try to mimic the whole hand-drawn look to it, and it doesn't really blend in. And that just part of the problem. And the story itself, you can kind of see that it's kind of isekai into different worlds, and you kind of get the whole escaflowne feel to it, transversing from one world to another thing. Then you have to throw in that whole obligatory harem thing that's about to happen. Uh, I believe this is maybe the second full mainstream series that he worked on. First one is the Two Abandoned Sacred Beasts, which was also animated with a middling review, and this is the second series. And the storyline is a little bit better, but I just don't see storyline being maybe a strong suit. Kind of sad to say that he might be better off just sticking to the artwork part of the series and let someone else handle the storyline at this point.
All right. Nothing to add, Albert?
No, not really.
Yeah. We'll see how this show goes. If anyone else is going to talk about it in the future. But overall, it doesn't seem there's too many other good shows out there right now. Like this one, to me, surprisingly decent. Seventh time loop, the villainess enjoys a carefree life married to her worst enemy. Dun dun dun. Once I saw that villainess title, I honestly thought this was an isekai following that villainess game trope, but it actually isn't. Um, I guess the source is a light novel, but it follows the main character, uh, Risha, I think that's how they say it. And it starts off with her being casted out as the villain, and her uh, betrothment to the prince is now annulled, and he's giving this big speech about how he's going to say why the marriage is being canceled. She just goes, okay, I'll see you later, and just starts walking off without listening to him. And you find out that this is not her first time this has happened, and that this is her seventh time loop in this situation where she's gone back to this particular time. And for the first episode, we're given previews of like her previous lives, and especially the one beforehand, which she pretended to be a boy, to become a soldier, and was killed in battle. They mentioned that she was also a merchant. She happened to meet some merchant people while she was outcasted, and they helped her along and taught her the trade. She was also um, a doctor, I believe, in some sense, and a maid. I can't remember everything that she's gone through, but now with her new life, she realizes that rather than being the future queen or being married to this prince, that her life holds so many more possibilities, and she wants to expand on those possibilities and to see what she can do with this new life as she goes forward. So it's been really fun with her outlook on everything, but on her way out, she decides to change things up a little bit. Rather than always exiting through the front door, she decides to take a turn at this corridor to do something else. And she so happens to run into this man that she met in her previous life that actually killed her. And he's the prince of this country that in all of her previous lives, this country has started the war that ends up in her death. And upon meeting him, she, of course, gives a quick introduction and tries to leave as fast as she can so she can start her new life. But it also catches his interest. And because of that, and some other issues that happened, he decides to follow her and becomes interested in her and asks her for her hand in marriage. So now her new life is going to be betrothed to the person, as it says here in the title, right? Her worst enemy, as she feels. But she decides to do this to see, for one, like maybe she can kind of prevent the war since all the wars are kind of started by this country. And maybe she can see why it happens and maybe she can make a change. But also, it's during her travels and her previous lives, she's always um, gone to all these different continents and she's tried to visit every single one. But one she was never able to visit was, of course, this one. So it's it's uh it's been very entertaining, and I really want to see how far she can take it and how she goes. I would say that the animation does look a little awkward, especially with her hair of all the characters, because it seems to like they put highlights in the character's hair, and then they put the shading color around all the highlights, so it looks really off to me. I've had a few other friends that have mentioned that it looks kind of strange, but that's what I've noticed how it looked on it. But um,
It can be as weird as a portion from last season.
yeah, but I have to say though, it's been very entertaining, and I kind of would want to recommend this to some other people because, like I said, it's not an isekai, but it is one of those time loops going back in time. But she uses her knowledge in a different way, and it's gonna kind of seem fun to learn what has she learned in her previous lives and how she can utilize it in her new life. So, if I had to recommend one show, I honestly probably would recommend this. Uh, so I think Albert, you said you put it on hold.
Yeah, it's on hold for me. I've been following the manga. I'm pretty sure it'll go beyond where the manga episodes are, so I'm kind of just waiting. This is what I did with the other one, mm, the villainous one from a couple seasons ago, and so I'll just wait till it catches up and see what's up. The animation is a little weird to me for whatever reason. It's like the shading and the CG esque character models. It doesn't quite seem to settle in. So I'm more interested in the story. It is interesting about this being one of those time loop stories. So she's at the beginning she's treated as the villainess. That's the whole setup. Like the princess has a new love interest, and that love interest has accused her, in this case falsely, of all these crimes, and so her engagement to the prince is annulled, right? And that's a pretty typical like otome game scenario, but this time again it's a whole subgenre of the otome game where you're playing the villainous role instead of the main character role, the princess love interest. And so that's an interesting take. And then this is also the time loop story, which is also another interesting take. We just had that last season with Tier Moon Empire, which I think is like a year or two older than this light novel series that started. So they're doing interesting things by blending and taking things, and instead of one loop, hey, what about 7 loops? And what happens if you have all these previous memories but you all end up dying 5 years from this point? So she doesn't know what the hell's going on, but she's enjoyed her 6 lives previously, but they all ended in one way or another due to the war. So she, this time, because she knows the Prince Arnold Hein. She wants to know why he became the cruel emperor when he takes the seat and starts this world war essentially, and her life always seems to end because of him. So it's a pretty interesting story, but again, I have a lot of other things to watch, so I'm just gonna wait till it catches up to the manga and watch the end. That's my plan.
All right. I would have a question for you. You've said you've seen the first episode, or
Yes.
so how would you say, story wise, it's following the manga? Would it be better to maybe go for the manga rather than the anime, or?
No, I think it's fairly faithful. There are slightly different um, angles and it's not like just a pure take the manga panel and make it an anime, right? So I think they're doing some of that. What a good adaptation should do, which is to bring sound and motion to uh, to the visuals. So I think if you can get past that kind of a weird CG esque animation, then yeah, watch the anime. I think that's perfectly fine. For me, I already know what's happening. I don't really like the character models. I'm just gonna wait.
All right, thank you. So let's go ahead and move on to the next title, which was surprisingly our top choice for anime night. Okay, maybe not a surprise. Well known as Gushing Over Magical Girls.
That was the top choice? Really?
Oh no, I think this was actually second. Wait, was it top? I can't remember now. I'll have to look at the list. But Maho Shoujo ni Akogarete. And
Oh, yeah, it is the top choice.
yeah.
Humanity is doomed.
Go ahead, take us, Albert or Vinny.
Gushing over magical girls, as we know. This is the author's second major work, mainstream work, which is completely different from the first work, which I enjoyed very much. It was first series is this kind of a harmless rom-com workplace involving the human and the alien. This one is about a girl, gloomy girl, introvert, kind of blends in, wallflower type of girl, who has a major crush over magical girls who's fighting the evil forces that's happening on her hometown. So she buys all those collectibles, figurines, posters, all kind of knickknack you name it. She got them all because she's a huge fan. And one day she was just, watching them fighting over all those evil forces and kind of wondering, gee, I wish I could be like them. And this mascot-looking character that very much is a reminiscence of the magical Madoka pops out of nowhere and say, "Hey, I just heard your Inoto stuff. Maybe I should turn you into one." She's like, "Huh? What? Sure, okay." Except she's turned into the villain character, not the magical girl character that she always adored. And she thought that was a mistake, and the mascot said, "No, no, no, it's not a mistake. I recreated you based on your inner thoughts and desire," and which turned out to be very much a perverted individual who loves to do nothing more than torment those magical girls that she adores so much in weekly basis, basically. And then she eventually team up with another girl who's sort of marginalized and having her own issues, and basically became the opposing forces that gets in the way of a magical girl who wants to create nothing but peaceful world, well, so to speak. As for whether that's the true agenda, nobody knows yet, and there might be something else going on. But this series, even in manga form, it was pretty perverted to begin with, but then it just dialed up to 11 in anime, which was eye-popping. I surely expected to see a lot of smokes or fogs or light beams obscuring the usual tricks to get in the way, and except it wasn't, which is pretty jarring and makes it very uneasy watching at times. Because in absence of over-the-top nudity, this would have been sort of semi-twisted, guilty pleasure type of series to watch. But once you throw nudity on top of that, it kind of becomes very uneasy choice at times to watch because otherwise this would have been actually a pretty fun series to watch story wise because it's all about the main character whose outer demeanor and internal conflict really does not match, and it creates all kind of issues for her and everybody around her.
So, um, I actually recently read the first like, 3, 4 chapters of the manga, and I was actually, like you said, I was surprised at how toned down the manga is compared to the anime. Um, the anime totally overdoes the sexualization and especially nudity. I don't think there's any nudity in the manga
No,
that
I
I
mean
read,
there's implied nudity, but nothing actually explicit out there, which is surprising to see in an anime, really.
but I guess because of that, it's obviously on High Dive, which has been known to show a lot of these shows with that kind of detail. But one thing that surprised me the most about the show is the voice actors for Utena. The way
Uh,
she breaks her voice, her nervousness, and it's just been so much fun to see how she gets it across, and even her joyful as she's just like in ecstasy over what she's been doing and having fun. I just hearing her voice act in this role has been really really fun. I don't think she's like a big voice right now out there, but this role has it's just been amazing to me, and I hope the best for her because it's just doing really good for this title. But other than that, um, I think as we see Lieutenant change and how she's opening up more to her inner desires, um, has been really fun. But also, I'm kind of like wondering like what's really happening because we got one story from I guess the magical or the evil Uten as a mascot character,
right.
and we heard kind of something completely different from the magical girls mascot. So I wonder what's really the truth, what's really going out there because in some of these shows, the good team's not always the good people, right? So
Yeah, I mean, Madoka kind of taught us that lesson hard.
so I'm kind of excited to see how this is really going, and maybe they might do a little trick on us. But other than that, the uh, the magical girls each have their own uh, very complex personalities, which is going across, which has been somewhat fun. But we're still waiting for the last, I guess, evil magical girl to come up.
Yeah, the third girl to show up in next episode, I believe.
So definitely going to keep on watching this. I can't say I'm upset that it's gone overboard, but I will
I
say
mean,
that the overboard is there.
it's definitely not your 8 o'clock in the morning anime or the 4 o'clock in the afternoon anime. It's definitely the 1 a.m. anime. Yeah, it's not precure per se. It's none of the characters are fully innocent. They all have their inner desires and thoughts and demeanors that really does not matches with their outer external veneer they put on, both the evil and the good ones, really. And that's the part that makes this kind of series very fun, because it gives a complexity to the characters. It's not just straight up good versus evil. And it does not try to overly twist the whole thing out of shape just because it has to top something else. It kind of follows its own little twisted desire, which is fine and dandy. I just find that it's a little regrettable that nudity was way over the top.
Hey, welcome, Dragon.
Hello.
We're talking about gushing over magical girls. Actually, we're just gushing over them. Did you want to say anything? We were just talking about how over the top the nudity is,
Um,
but it's also fun show.
I guess wait, did we already give like the forewarning that this is very like etchy and So if you don't like that, then you're definitely not gonna like it. But if you're fine with it, it is really funny. It's definitely over the top in it's like ecchi humor, basically. But yeah.
All right. Not much else to say about this show, right? I mean, yeah. So the next title, which I'm gonna kind of talk to you guys real quick to see. Did you want to go over the Witch and the Beast?
We could probably skip it. I mean, we have a lot more titles to go through, so
Okay, how about Mato Sei no Slave? I think we can probably skip that too, right?
sure, yeah. Am I the only one that watched? Oh, everyone kind of watched the first episode, huh?
I think we got through two.
Yeah. I see. I see. Well, yeah. The the only thing is they keep it. They don't want to use a slave in the title of a show for a Western audience, so uh, the manga that's based on is called Chain Soldier. And then every time I think they refer to the main boy, they don't, in the manga they're like slave, but in the anime I think they use the word servant, which is kind of funny. But that's about it.
I didn't notice they changed. Now, if anything, I thought this was going to be the more edgy title, but surprisingly, Gushing Magical Girls beat it. But yeah, I don't know. I kind of want to watch it. I've read the manga, but after watching the first few episodes, I feel like I can just be pleased with the manga rather than having to watch the anime.
Yeah, that was my feeling too.
So, okay, we can probably go to the next title then, which is gonna be Metallic. Metallic Rogue.
No, not Rogue, Rouge.
Rouge.
Rouge as in red.
I like Rogue. Okay, Metallic Rouge.
Yeah, so oh, you guys haven't really gotten into it, huh? So Metallic Rouge, there's a couple of things to really like because it's a Bones production. It's their 25th anniversary project. So technically, Bones' 25th anniversary was last year, but it's obviously airing now. The other thing is it's an anime original, so there's no source material. It's always interesting to me to support original. And it's kind of a cyberpunkish world, but not so gritty, it seems like. Yeah, and it has phenomenal, at least for the first episode I watched, phenomenal animation. So in this world, there are androids called neons, and uh, there appears to be 9 so-called immortal neons that are some sort of threat to the government. So they've sent in 2 agents to take care of things, as you would. The first one is a neon, but you don't find that out till like middle of the show. Her name is Rouge, and the other is her investigative partner, Naomi. And so the 2 of them, as of the first episode, track down one of these immortal nines, and there's a huge battle. There's a couple of deceptions thrown in, and yeah, the battle scenes. So the androids apparently can transform into their fighting mode. So there's a transformation sequence, beautifully animated. They become, they're wearing like an exoskeleton armor, and they duke it out. And normally you would think that would all be CG. No, this is all like hand drawn as far as I can tell. So animation's great. The voice acting, I really like what I've heard so far. The human partner, maybe human, I think she's human, partner is voiced by Tomoyo Kurosawa. So she is, she's the voice of Kumiko and Sound Euphonium, and was the voice of Foss and Land of Lustrous. So I really enjoy her work and her range. Yeah, so this is like a must watch for me immediately. And in addition, they've pulled in a lot of talent to work on this. One of the things that I also noticed, hold on, let me double check. For the writing credit, the series composition. Let me make sure I am correct. Of course, it's not listed. I'm pretty sure is Anada Juki, and he has done phenomenal work in the past. So I think they've got a really good team together, and so my hope is very high for for this original anime. So I highly recommend you check it out. Hank?
Oh, sorry, I forgot I muted my mic. I was just gonna say that we've watched the first episode as a group, but it didn't get into our top 10 titles. So probably have to watch this on my own time. I did find it very interesting, and I also loved some of the scenes that they did show, especially when they took those, I don't know what they were, but those little shots, I guess, or injections. But
Yeah, the drug. So the neons apparently need that to survive, while humans can take it as a drug to get them high.
But it honestly made me think of like some very old anime titles. Like one show that made me think of a lot of was like, I don't know if you ever seen it, Armitage the Third.
Yeah, I've seen it.
So it had like that similar vibe. Of course, they're totally different, but it gave me that vibe and made me think of that a lot. So that's why I'm really interested in probably continuing this alone. So hopefully it continues its quality and going forward. I have some time to try to catch up at least. Next up is the what is it? The undead something? The Unwanted Undead Adventure. Nozu Manu Fushi no Bokensha.
Interesting. So I'm the only one. I thought you guys would be watching this. So
I've actually
this is
forgot to mark it.
Yeah.
I've seen the third 3 episodes.
Oh, okay. Well, I mean, it's a fantasy show, so not isekai, as far as we know. And it's about he's bronze rank, right? Yeah, so it's a pretty low ranking adventurer in the adventurer guild and is in the dungeon. And he finds a previously undiscovered passage. He gets to the lowest level and finds a dragon so terrifying he can't move, and the dragon eats him. And he finds himself as a skeleton. So I guess kind of a reincarnation story too. But finding himself as a skeleton, but still in his memories intact. He remembers his friend, a researcher, saying, these monsters can evolve. And so he tries to kill other monsters to try to see if he can evolve back to something more human-esque. And so in the first episode, he actually succeeds from becoming a skeleton to a ghoul, saves a novice adventurer, manages to communicate with her, and she, out of, because she's a noob, probably, decides to help him, buy him clothes so he can disguise himself and all that. So it's a, kind of an interesting take as he is adapting to this new reality of being a monster, yet not having memories and feelings of a human that he was. So I've been reading the manga for quite some time. It is quite enjoyable. I'm still reading it. And you will see him, try to grow as an adventurer and as a monster while trying to not get killed by other adventurers and being discovered as a monster. So it's interesting, and I would recommend you check it out if you like fantasy. They do talk about skills and such, but there's no overt, game screen that shows up or leveling. They are ranked according to, I believe it's iron, bronze, silver, gold, and then mithril. And that's what he wants to actually become. And for 10 years, he's been grinding at bronze level, essentially not really achieving his goals. But all that motivation will become clear later on. That's why he wants to become a mithril class adventurer. And yeah, I think a lot of people would enjoy it. That's it.
I've read some of the manga, not all of it. But I do know there's also a light novel. I believe they're all on the J Novel site. So I think they have the license for it, for both the light novel and the manga. And it's been so long since I've read it. When I heard this coming out, I remembered it, but for some reason, every time we come to go sit down and watch it, it always just slips my mind. It's just one of those titles that I can't just keep in my mind for some odd reason. But I have been able, luckily, to get up to 3 episodes, and it's at least following in the same direction that I do remember from the manga. And I would say that, as you said, that there's really no like game uh, aesthetics with like status screens or anything like that. I do find the energy or magic that he has is somewhat entertaining because instead of it just being like normal magic, I think he has like 3 different types or 3 different variants that in their world that normally only one person could use one of, right? So
Yeah, he's rare in that case, but his ability to use the 3 different types. So I think they refer to the one that's most rare as divinity, like a divine power that he can wield, as the rarest. But the other one, which is Marioku, which is magical ability, like I'm not sure, I don't remember how they translate it, but the magic force is what magic users often use, and Kenki, which is like spirit energy, I guess. That one is what like fighters and other martial arts type classes use.
I think they did translate it to spirit.
Okay, so yeah, spirit and magic are not uncommon, and have been rare people who can use both, and they become like magical swordsmen and such. But in this case, he has all 3, but his ability to use them is very weak. So although rare, he can't fully utilize it because his ability to do so is weak, and therefore he hasn't been able to advance and adventuring classes, or adventuring ranks. Sorry, adventurer rank. Yeah.
Yeah, nice. All right. Yeah, it's. I can't remember if this was a show. No, I think it was something else. But yeah, I think this is a nice show for people to watch, especially if you like fantasy. Go ahead and go to the next title, which I was surprised within our group this didn't rank high at all. I swear, almost everyone else I know, online at least, has talked to or knows about solo leveling, right? That's an ugly title card. All we have is just white and black. Okay. But in Japan, I guess it's Ore Dake Level Up Na Ken. And this is, rather than manga, it's the is it manhwa, right? Is that how you say it? The
Yeah.
Korean comics, right?
Yep.
So this has been out there for a long time. I believe even that came from a source of a light novel that was released. And this is one of the few that I think is being aired where everything's actually completed. So there's nothing to advance on the story. So when it came to the anime telling the story, they could show us a lot more and build the world a lot fuller at the beginning rather than giving us a little bit as it goes on as we read through the manga. So we've been introduced to a lot of characters that normally we wouldn't have seen, and we've also learned a lot of this what's going on as sooner than having to learn it as we read through the book. So I think that was really helpful to establish how this world is and how things are going. But I would have to say I was actually I've been really excited because it's also got one of my favorite music composers. That I believe it was Sawano Hiroyuki that's doing this. So I've always loved all of the stuff he's worked on. So can't wait to see how this show goes. But like I said, I'm surprised with our anime group that not many people are watching it or are into it. I do know Dragon said that he was told to read the manga first or manhwa.
Yeah, yeah. I was supposed to read the manhwa first before watching it, so I was like, okay, I guess I'll wait.
But I honestly think it would have been one of the top shows. If I go to this other website that I normally follow, it's actually oh, it doesn't have the ranking on here. Sadness. We'll have to wait to see how that ranks. But it is on Crunchyroll, and it was also announced, I think, during the Anifest online. So it's finally out. Not much to say about it because if you've been waiting for it, you know about it, and if you haven't, then that's it. But I would say the quality's been pretty fun so far. So I think Vinny made comments about how he's like a Kirito yeller. Ah. Next up, I kind of want to bring this up real quick because this was really strange. I've read the manga a bit, but as far as the anime, I've only seen the first episode because I wanted to see how bad it was, which is called Orokona Tenshi wa Akuma to Odoro, or The Foolish Angel Dances with the Devil. I honestly wasn't thinking too much about the show. I was like, I don't even need to watch it. But when I opened up the thing on Crunchyroll, the comments are what drew me in because there were so many 1-star comments bashing the show, talking about about reverse rape and um all these weird things about lollies, and I was just like, what in the world is going on? Because like I said, I've read the manga, so I know kind of what it is. I'll admit it is in the manga kind of portrayed as somewhat ecchi, but it's nothing compared to like some of the other titles we've talked about as far as the etchiness goes. I mean, it's obviously got implied sexual um, things going on, but and of course the girl is fairly small, but um, it's they kind of changed up where instead of the guy being the one that's in control of all this or pushing all this stuff, it's the girl that's doing all these weird things, right? Fitting the collar in and making it seem all sexual and everything, as he as she locks up this devil to be do her bidding because she's an angel. But so because of that, I did see the first episode, and honestly, it's not as bad as a lot of those comments were making it out. So, but I was just surprised with how much attention that got out in the comments for myself. But next up is this show, which has been a surprisingly fun show for me. Saijuku Tamer wa Gomi Hiroi no Tabi o Hajimashita. The weakest tamer begins a journey to pick up trash. I did look it up a little bit because I was interested, and I think this is their first full time like main project as an anime for the studio. So I'll admit when I got into it, the animation isn't like great. I mean, there's some points where I'm like I could have done better, but it's its first time. I'm not gonna kind of bash it too much, but I'm really enjoying just the story so far on it. What about you, Dragon?
It
Please.
has an interesting premise. I don't know. I'm not sure if I may have missed an episode, but um, it is interesting so far. Just to see, I kind of do want to figure out like why they don't like a certain attribute of the main character. Are we allowed to go into details about it, Tank? Do you
Yeah.
think, or um? So she in this world, I guess they when they have a skill, it comes with like a star value, meaning like how well that skill is for them, like how well attributed they are with it. And apparently, the title given that is the weakest tamer, she is a tamer, but she is starless. So like that's why she's the weakest tamer. And there's like a religion where like the gods hate like the starless, which they're considered abandoned by the gods, and so they her whole village is like basically like trying to like get rid of her, and they think she's like an omen for like bad curse, and I kind of am interested to see like where it stems from on like why they hate the starless and all that. And but it's very I do like her relationship with the slime, especially with how cute the design for the slime is. And I am interested to see the slime more and see how it grows, basically.
Albert, anything to add? Or sorry, Vinny. Albert dropped.
Yeah, I dropped it. In part because yeah, there was a sure the first episode looked pretty decent, and I understand it's a new new studio, and they haven't done a lot, or they've only done short animations, or I think they did some commercials too. But anyway, the thing is, I've been reading the manga, and this is a light novel originally, and it looks like they went with the character designs kind of based off of more of the light novel. So there was that difference, and then there from the first to the second episode, I noticed like a drop in animation. So then I was like, I think I'll just stick with the reading the manga. So it is an interesting world. I do really like Ivy and how, despite the misfortune of being starless, she is just trying to survive. And just kind of a pretty harsh reality where uh, she was essentially abandoned by her family because she's starless, and then they decide to, the village kind of decides we need to get rid of her, as in kill her. So that was horrific too. And she's on her, she's escaped the village and is trying to get to a village or town near, on the far side of the kingdom, or I believe. The only person in the village that helped her was this old, what was she? Like an
Fortune teller?
apothecary or fortune teller? Yeah. So the fortune teller, did help her out and gave her things and knowledge so that she'd be able to survive. And when the fortune teller passes away, then the village essentially is coming after her, so she escapes, right? And manages to find this weird, very rare slime, and because it's such a weak slime, she was able to tame it, even though she was starless. Otherwise, she wouldn't be able to tame anything. So it's an interesting start, and I think the story goes to interesting places if you let it. I like the story that's happening, and it shows you the kindness of strangers to her, despite the misfortune that she was born under. So I like that kind of messaging. It's kind of a heartwarming story, but bad things do happen in that world. So yeah, if you like that kind of story, check it out. It is ostensibly a isekai because she has memories from a different world, different life, but it doesn't really play that much into it except very early on as kind of a comedic thing. Because as a modern someone, probably Japanese person living in the city, having to capture your own meals and skin it and cook it is a horrifying thing, right? It's not, you don't find things in the supermarket here. So that's kind of treated as a comedy, but the isekai thing doesn't feature heavily into later episodes. So give it a try.
I was just about to comment on that, and one thing I did like about the anime was how they kind of uh, show us her communicating with her past life. That's why I kind of find it hard to say it's an isekai to myself. Rather than her having the memories, it's like she has two souls in herself. Because it seems like she's always having a communication with it. But I do like how they have this like little bell ring as if to notify us, oh, you got a message. And as she communicates with, I guess, her other self. But yeah, surprisingly, it was an interesting show. The next show, I think we can skip for a talk because they skipped her on the arm in one scene. I sent you guys a screenshot of that. This animation, literally in episode 3, there's this like a 2 frames where his arm is gone, and then all of a sudden it appears out of nowhere. Let's go to this next one, which had a very long first episode. Sasaki Topi-chan, right?
Yeah.
And it seems like everyone is on board with this one. I will say though, episode 2 threw me off so much. And I think it has to do with the sound effects and music. I don't know, something about it just didn't fit well with the episode, and it just threw me off. There's just something totally off about that episode. Plus, this also has one of the worst ending
Oh my god. I mean, the ending
visuals ever.
animation was just abhorrent.
But Vinny, you want to talk about the show?
Sure. Okay, so it starts with a story of Sasaki, your typical low-end salaryman working in just another non-descriptive workplace in Japan, um, who longs for something a little bit different to break the monotony in his life. So he ventures into the pet shop looking for something suiting furry creature and ended up coming home with a bird, which was strangely enough very discounted. And then bird starts to talk, and first Sasaki thought, oh well, it must be one of those bird that mimics human speech, but turns out that was anything but. And the bird reveals himself to be a star sage from another world who was practically exiled into this world. And he offers a deal that if Sasaki helps him out, the bird, then bird will in return do him a little bit of favor to get his life a little bit better than what he has. So they ventured into the bird's old world, which is opens up the whole isekai trope thing, which is also a world filled with the magic and all that. And Sasaki learns a little bit about how to use magic. Then by second episode, he kind of trips into this world of paranormal activity division in the government entity where his magic is kind of treated as a sort of extra uh, ability user type of expert type of thing, I guess. So his world turns upside down when he all he wanted to do is make a little bit of quick bucks on another world and live his life comfortably. And then it goes from there basically. So it's basically having a storyline in his original world and the fantasy world, and probably more to be unfolded as to what the ramification of him learning the magic and getting all this power, amounts to. And as the Dragon and Bolt Tank mentioned, the ending credit is just. It's like they tried to use sort of stop motion animation using 3D, then it kind of went a little creepy and a little weird at the same time. Uh, but if there's always a skip button to just ignore the ending credits, so I think they'll do the job.
I think we kind of just finished one whole arc, right, with episode 4, or was that 3? No, yeah, it's 3 because the
Yeah, we just finished the whole arc about Sasaki and the nobleman.
I'm kind of excited to see where it goes from here because as far as
Uh,
I've seen, it's really hard to follow this show because of the two different stories that are going on. Because we got
yeah, but they don't overlap at the same time. It's like it tends to focus on one world more than the other. So I'm guessing now that he took care of the noble issues from the isekai world kind of place, it's gotta swing back to the his regular work at the government entity. That's my gut feeling.
all right. But I guess I don't have much to add except for just I don't know something about episode 2 seemed really off on me. I don't know if anyone else felt that.
But that was alright. There's also manga of that. Let me see how many. Tataki and Peeps. It's up to volume 2, so it's available.
I think there should be 3.
3? Oh.
Well, actually, in Japan, there's 3. I don't know about the translation. So I'm planning on reading it because, yeah, it's pretty funny. And the studio that's doing it is Silverlink. So that's another interesting take. The animation so far is good, at least of the first episode I watched. So I haven't watched the rest.
That picture clip that you put out there the other day, the Yuki Aoi doing the all kind of creatures, that was just so funny to look at. First the spider, then the Mao Mao, then now the bird.
Yeah, it's I think it's got a good team, and it's not your typical Studio Silverlink. It feels like, although with the whole battle, supernatural battle angle, they have done that kind of thing before. So, yeah, it's highly entertaining. There's a lot of twists. You might recognize things like Sasaki trying to go between the worlds. We just saw that last year with trying to what's it called? Trying to earn 80,000 gold. Yeah, that whole thing, buying cheaply here and selling it high over there, kind of thing.
Yes.
So yeah, there are tropes that they're blending in, but it's done. The fact that the guy is just a salaryman, it's a combination of all those kinds of things, and Nukoda from Campfire Cooking in Another World with my overpowered skill. So yeah, it's fun. It's fun as a first episode I'm in, so I'll continue watching.
All right. Go to the next title. Dun-dun. How do you say this? Sengoku Yoko? They got to note that this is a 3-course series.
Yeah, it's play for 36 episodes, I believe. So the reason I started watching this, I was gonna skip it, but then when I was looking through like credits and all that, you notice that the author is Mizukami, Satoshi Mizukami, who I really enjoy his work. So he did an anime called Planet Wiz several years ago that I highly recommend. He's also the author of Lucifer and the Biscuit Hammer, which had a horrible anime. His other works in the manga, I really enjoyed Spirit Circle, which I hope someday will become an anime. And this apparently is also one of his works that I have not read. So I was interested in it because of that, because of the strong writing of the original source material. Unfortunately, at least as of now, the animation is good. So it's about, how do I describe it? So I guess there are monsters called Katawara in the Sengoku period. There's a main character appears to be a samurai dude, but then he is inexperienced and often hesitant on acting out. He just wants to become stronger and train. And so he was going to attack some bandits, but then he sees that a little girl with some weird hairstyle, which turns out to be her ears, and this other guy is kind of trying to convince the bandits to give up their banditry. So he becomes involved with this, and turns out that the bandit leader has a monster that was controlling him. So he kind of accidentally stumbles into this world of Katawara, spiritual beings and such. And the little girl is actually a fox spirit. And I guess adventure is about to start. So I only watched the first episode, but it was interesting enough that I'm going to continue. And we'll see what happens. It is a big investment, though, in time.
Yeah, I found it very humorous with the first episode, so that's kind of what's keeping me. Also, have quite a few friends who's like this time period when it comes to art that they draw. So watching it and stuff to see how they draw the houses and locations stuff is, I think, one of the biggest things that they like when it comes to this kind of anime. But I've been surprised with the combat that's been happening. And it's been somewhat fun to see. But I honestly didn't think it was going to be that long of a show. But now with you mentioning that this is the author for like Spirit Circle and that other Planet with, I think I'm going to try to watch this all the way through because when it comes to those stories, they're really on point. I mean, they make me think, they make me cry. So, um, and as far as visually, this show is really good. So I really do plan to check this. Anyone else want to say anything, or should we go to the next title?
Which
Next
Okay.
title.
I think we can skip Banishment from the Heroes Party, Living a Quiet Life season 2. That's just a continuation from season 1 that happened, I think, 3 seasons ago.
Yep.
The only other title we have here is my instant death ability is so overpowered, no one in this world stands a chance. Blah 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 blah. A bunch of other stuff in this title. Excuse me. So I think we could skip that one because I'm the only one that's watching it and it's not really good.
I think I
uh,
tried to watch the first episode and I had to drop after a few minutes.
yeah. Free Ren, we can go past that because that's just continuation. The Moonlit, what is it called? Moonlit Fantasy has a season 2 now. So of course, if you're going to go into this, you have to see season 1 for the story. Moving on, Undead Unluck we can skip because that's from last season. I will say I've started watching it, and it's been hilarious. So I think this is the next title that we're going to watch. This is another one that's seems like it's a very serious title, right? We can't see the title there, but Signs of Affection.
Yeah, Sign of Affection.
I've only seen the first episode, and it's probably not a show I'm going to watch. Nothing against it, but it seems like it's going to be a drama. No, I don't think I kind of want to get into a drama right now.
I haven't continued off from the first one. I have been meaning to continue it, but I have read a little bit of the manga as well, and so that's why when I heard that I was getting anime adaptation, I was really excited just because I remembered how cute the story was going and the relationship that is built in it. So I am definitely excited to continue watching it. Um, can I talk about a little bit of what it's about, or?
Yeah,
Sure, go
sell
for it.
it to us. Sell us. You want it?
I guess for a brief, it's about a girl who is, I would say, hard of hearing more than deaf because she does have hearing aids. Um, but it's basically it starts off with her and how she meets the main male protagonist is that she is on the train and a foreigner is trying to ask her for directions and she's having trouble trying to tell him that she is hard of hearing and that she can't really like understand, like she can't hear what he's saying and like are asking her. And so the main male protagonist notice and goes over to talk to the foreigner to help like answer his like questions about which directions to go. and and so she's all relieved and then she's trying to find a way to thank him and like um that's how they meet. And he's like, oh, like like, "Are you, like, deaf?" And then she's, like, typing up and, like, saying yes, and but before she can finish typing up, sh he makes her look and then it says, "Can you read lips?" And then that's the first time, like, she, like, actually, like, sees his face and is kinda, like, enamored by his beauty, and but it's basically it stems from there, and, um, she's kinda like she's like, "I recognize him," and she goes to talk to her friend because they go to the same club together, and, eventually, like, she's kinda like, "I wanna get to know him a little bit," and basically, we get to where he's working at a bar, and they're trying to, like, get to know each other a little bit more, and they kinda have a mutual of, "I wanna get to know each other and, like, kinda be in each other's worlds," and that's how their, like, relationship is, like, stemming or, like, starting, and then it'll kinda, like, build off from there. But it's a very cute anime, so if you like shoujos and, like, fluffy, wholesome romance, then, like, definitely check it out.
Yeah,
So
definitely shoujo, and um, it's probably the romance of the season. I also recommend it after watching one episode, like, planning on continuing it, despite being bothered by some of the obvious shoujo luscious lip character designs. So Dragon, according to like the in story, at least she's completely deaf from
Is
birth.
she? Because she does have hearing
Yeah.
aids, which makes me think hard of hearing
N-
rather than deaf. So it's kinda like
No, like her when you see like scenes of her, just from her viewpoint,
mhm,
there's complete silence or like a white noise
right.
static. So she is deaf, and I think the hearing aids are either an accessory to let people know she can't really hear, or
Okay.
there are hearing aids that will kind of give you amplified sound feedback. Even though you don't have the ability to understand the sound, you can feel it, and
You
so
feel it. Okay, got it.
you could tell that someone's trying, right behind you, or very loud sounds, so you can react to the environment. But she is completely deaf, so
Got it.
I don't think you'll see her speak. It's really hard to speak if you have no hearing input. Uh, so yeah, but but it is a very probably a very cute romantic show. So I'm hoping it will be that. I don't know any of the source material, but yeah, it's good.
when I saw that first episode, I was reminded of that what's it called, Noitamina type of shows from back in the day. I haven't heard them coming out too much nowadays. They were always on uh like Amazon Prime. It seemed when it came to the animes. This gave me that.
Why did you think it was a Noitamina-esque show?
I don't know, just the feeling, because a lot of those shows have this kind of feeling to me, like
Hmm,
kind of like Hunting
interesting.
Clover kind of thing, you know?
Yeah, I guess, but Noitamina was mostly a lot of like experimental type interesting animation, but they're doing something a little bit different. This feels more mainstream shoujo to me. So it's interesting that you feel that way. But Anyway, we can probably move on.
All right, and it looks like this is going to be our last title, which is from Albert only. Looks like just from the pictures, is this Gundam or something weird?
No, Braver. The show. Well, I only watched the first episode just last night, and I'm in. So it starts off. Uh, there's a little bit of bait and switch. So it starts off like a real robot anime, right? So it's a near future. Japan, JDSF forces. Wait, is that oxymoron? Anyway, JDSF and the American military are having joint exercises, and the mech that they're using is called a Titano. Wait, Titano something. So it looks like a real robot mech that you get in and you pilot, and they're having these a competition. So the JDSF guy Isami is an ace pilot, although it appears he's never had actual combat experience. And then there's the American guy, blonde, all that. I don't remember his name. I think they're both kind of the protagonists. And on the first day of the exercise, the American guy, is killed in action, meaning he got eliminated during the competition, and Isami wins the day by kind of ignoring more orders, kind of being a lone wolf, right? And takes out the enemy, the mock enemy headquarters. So, all that happens on the second day. The two kind of rival up each other and says, "Well, we'll meet on the battlefield and have a one-on-one," because they're going up against each other on the second day. But turns out there is an alien invasion, and unknown mechs show up with energy shields that they can't penetrate, and they start taking out the military and the base, and fighter pilots are getting killed. And in the midst of this, right, Isami has to fight, and you can see him like shaking, and he's having hesitation because it's real combat. And so this happens. They are about to completely get wiped when a super robot shows up in the middle of the show, right? And he's like, "Isami, I've come for you. Get in me." And Isami's like, "What the hell is going on?" But he climbs into the super robot, who's the only thing that can fight these alien invaders, and pilots the mech, the super robot, and starts destroying the enemy. And all the time, this super robot thing, there's a soundtrack that's going in. You think it's just like the battle soundtrack, right, with the song and like you would hear in the Super Sentai series. No, it's actually a song playing in the robot, and Simon's like, "What the hell is this song?" And so it's both a real robot, a super robot homage, and also a parody at times. So it was a great first episode. I highly recommend you check it out. I know it's raised a lot of interest in Japan. There's a lot of Japanese people watching it. I think a lot of the old mech designers and animators are involved or giving advice on this. Obari's name has been thrown around. So, yeah, at least check out the first episode, see what you think. Some things happen in the second episode where Isami is as confused as everyone. But the Americans don't see it that way. How did the super robot know him? And so there's a lot of things that happen that is unpleasant. So yeah, that's it. I would recommend you check it out just for that. And the mech battle scenes, yes, there are. The real robot mech scenes are kind of 3D CG, right? But it's blended pretty well. The mechs look interesting too. And the super the super robot is hilarious. So highly recommend it.
All right. This is on Crunchyroll, right? Yeah. Okay, I see it.
I think so.
From Cyan Games.
Yeah, so it's kind of like original property, right? Psy Games does all these mobile games. They did, was it The Rage of Bahamut? I think Uma Musume is Psy Games also. Yeah, they're mostly known for like a mobile game, but then they extend into animation, and their anime has been pretty entertaining. So.
Oh, they did Princess Connect.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so it's probably going to hold up, and there's a lot of homage and parody in there.
Nice. All right. Well, thank you everyone for joining me. This is actually I got a few new titles I need to check out. I've also determined which ones I'm going to drop. Do any of you know if there's any movies coming out currently or recent or upcoming?
Is the Gurren Lagann still going on, or is that already over? Because I remember they advertised 2 Gurren Lagann movies, I think.
I am honestly not sure. I just know that I missed it because it was snowed. Everything was shut down.
Mm.
But
So not anime, but I did watch the Godzilla -1 movie, and I highly recommend it. It got a
Did you see
re-release as a
-1 or
black and white.
-1 minus? Okay, minus color. Yeah, I'm planning to watch it
Yeah,
on Tuesday, and I am very excited for it.
I really enjoyed it, and the black and white, it really works. It works really well. So let me know what you think.
Okay, definitely. Oh, I see that they are gonna be showing Paprika again in theaters in February.
all right.
Oh, nice.
Another show which we kind of skipped over, which is Classroom of the Elite. I'm kind of waiting off on that one, so I'll probably just do an end of the season review. That show, I seem to think it'd be better done in batches. I watch it rather than watching it every week because it's such a like kind of mystery type of thing that I don't want to forget what's going on as I watch the next episode from the previous episode. But, other than that, I'd like to thank everyone here. We'll let Albert finish his game. He's been giving us updates, right?
Hmm?
Oh, yeah, he just gave us an update not long ago. Wow. Okay. But we'll see how things go from here. And I'll let y'all know when we do the end of the season. It might be at a weird time because I'll probably be traveling. So we'll see what we can do about that. And then, other than that, if you're going to want to join us for any of these discussions, just give us a message and we can have you join us in our Discord as we talk about the different shows there. And if you ever want to join us on this actual talk, it's also in the Discord where you can let us know if you want to join us, and we'll give you the time and date to join us. But, other than that, thank you. And anyone have any parting words?
Don't catch cold. Stay warm.
Take care, everyone.
There's too much anime to watch.
All right. Thank you, everyone. And Jessica, take care out there. And we also call out to Sean. It's been a long time since Sean's been around. And Nick. Hopefully, you guys are all doing good this New Year's, and hope you have a wonderful year. Goodbye, everyone. Oh, and Neo, get back to work.